Moving into our second story of the day. Oh, folks, you're going to love this one. You're going to love this one. If you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, folks, please do so. Make sure you head over to baldbrad.com, get yourself a mug. We do have a shop. We do have a book called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Folks, grab yourself a copy. You're seeing them destroyed in real time. I mean, literally in real time, we are watching our country degrade. I mean, you don't have to look any further than Bud Light right now. Bud Light is basically a metaphor for the United States of America. Let me put it that way. So the White House turns heads with ad taking credit for lower inflation. You've heard it here first, folks. You've heard it here, folks. It's Friday. Look, it's frustrating as hell, but at the same time, it is hilarious. And that's why I love politics, is because they think we're all stupid. And that's kind of, I mean, that's the frustrating part of things, but it's also the hilarious part of things that they think that we can't just go look this stuff up. So check this out. And I got an image to show you because it actually comes from their Twitter feed. The White House provoked criticism on social media for an advertisement claiming that the Biden administration successfully decreased inflation over the past several months. Oh, God. So headline inflation declined to a 5% year-over-year rate as of last month, according to data published Wednesday by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, marking a slight reprieve even as price levels in certain categories continue to rise. Inflation, nevertheless, remains between... I can't even get it out. Inflation remains between 3 times and 4 times higher than the rate seen at the start of the current administration. Just on my screen, I can see the ad. I'm trying to get there, folks. I apologize. At least you see my real personality. I genuinely laugh at everything, and sometimes it does get me in trouble. I laugh at everything. So the fact that I could sit here sometimes 40 minutes to an hour and do an entire show without laughing, I deserve a pat on the back is what I'm saying. So the advertisement posted on Instagram featured a grinning president, Joe Biden, wearing aviator sunglasses next to an announcement. Look at him. Look at him. Good news. If you're listening on audio, God, please come over and look at this with us. I can't do it. This was posted on POTUS on Twitter with 20 million followers. It says inflation has fallen by 45% from its summer peak under Biden. And he's just sitting there smirking with aviators. You know that guy doesn't have a damn clue what's going on. Okay, does that look like a face where that brain is working? Come on. Oh, God, I hope you're laughing along with me, folks. Oh, we're seeing price declines in gas, groceries, and electronics, and wages are up. This progress is more breathing room for hardworking Americans, the White House said. So the guy creates the problem, and then in a nutshell, he's going to post this knucklehead Twitter post, this Instagram feed thing, and that we just looked at. And now we're supposed to all bow down to him and basically rub his shoulders and kiss his feet for at least diminishing slightly a problem which he created. So he creates a bleep storm, and then we're supposed to thank him for fixing it. That's not the broken window fallacy or anything. We ought to build on our progress by lowering costs, creating jobs, and reducing the deficit, and reject congressional Republicans' attempt to hold our economy hostage in order to cut taxes for the wealthy, ship jobs overseas, and cut programs Americans count on. Does anybody, for the love of God, really believe that? Does anybody really believe that? And how could you believe it after you look at this picture again? Like, does that look like a guy? That look like a guy you want to trust? That's the type of guy that's going to come sniff your hair, ladies, okay? That's the type of guy that's going to do some weird stuff with your kids. And the Democrats are already doing it. We're seeing what's happening in the school system, folks. Even as energy prices fell and food prices were relatively stable, costs for shelter, apparel, and household supplies continue to increase. Core inflation, which factors out the more volatile food and energy categories, increased 5.6% year over year. So what does that mean? Inflation didn't go down. Inflation's still up, But what they're trying to do, again, is spin the data and say that, I mean, I understand what they're pushing here was, well, let's say it was 9.1% a while ago. Now it's 5.6%. So in their mind, it has decreased the effects of inflation. I understand what they're saying here. Inflation is still extremely high. On average, we look between about 1 to 3% inflation. That's normal. The fact that we were at 3 times normal or 4 times normal, 40-year high than normal, like inflation I've never seen in my lifetime. Like, and then they're going to sit there and push this. It's amazing. It's amazing. Social media commentators observed that prices in their areas remain considerably elevated. Price is still insane here. Not sure where you get your stats. One user said, "You obviously haven't been to the grocery store lately. Can we pause for a moment? Can you imagine Joe Biden at the grocery store? He can't even answer a question if he's going to run in 2024. He's falling asleep during interviews, like mid-sentence when the guy's asking him a question. This guy's not going shopping. No way in hell. No way. He can barely order a burger. Are you going to congratulate yourself on fixing inflation that you created? Please just stop." Did I write that? Was that me? That sounded exactly like what I just said. It wasn't me, folks, but God, it could have been, huh? Sounds a hell of a lot like what we just said here on the Bald Brad Show. Record inflation over the past 2 years has indeed offered difficulties to household. Purchasing power erodes when price levels increase, outpacing normal rises in pay, especially for low-income families, which typically allocate more of their income to core living expenses relative to wealthier families. Real wages, which consider the effect of inflation, fell 1.3% year over year as of last month. But remember, Joe Biden goes, well, now it's back to you. Now it's in your hands. When he was talking about after the government just pumped the economy full of money and artificially inflated it with the COVID-19 stimulus checks, and basically saying that the bargaining chips back in the hands of the employee against their employer. So Joe Biden wanted people to get paid more for certain jobs. And so what he did was paid them more for certain jobs, outcompeted the private sector, shut the entire economy down and kept it shut down so that you can have this increase in inflation of wages that probably wouldn't have happened otherwise because Joe Biden decided to use the force of government and the power of the government to print money and give everybody stimulus checks like they were hotcakes. So that was one of many variables that contributed to all of this. And so now wages are increasing. That's great. But everything else is going to catch back up because businesses tend to pass on that wage increase onto who? You or I, which increases what? Inflation, because everything now is inflated because it is more expensive. But they don't get that. By the way, we're just talking basics, basic economics, right? If you want a great book, Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. It's like a 150-page book. It is great. It gives you everything you need to know about economics in probably one sitting. A fabulous book. You might have heard me talk about the broken window fallacy. That is in the book as well, so you would learn about that. But like the Biden administration just continue to drive this country further in the ground, and then we're supposed to pat him on the back when he does something relatively good. And when I mean relatively good, you've heard me say this before, when Joy Behar of The View got excited because she found out the guy exercised, and by exercising meaning he walked somewhere. But she was ecstatic. I mean, it was like the biggest news she's ever heard. She couldn't get more giddy. The only way she could have got more excited was to see Donald Trump in jail. Put it that way. So the bar's low for this guy. He does remotely anything slightly good, and we're supposed to credit him, which is not good news when you're going up against Donald Trump, because the fact that Joe Biden shows up on the debate stage in 2024, he wins re-election. Because look what he did. He walked across the floor, fumbled through some words, didn't have coherent thoughts, but somehow he speaks Democrat language because, hell, let's be honest, they don't have coherent thoughts either. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.